Well, hello, everybody, and welcome back to the One Heart, One Earth Global Awakening event for November 2020. I'm your host, Lisa Gunshore, and it has been a long time no see, but welcome back to the program, Becky Prater. Welcome back, Becky.
Yay, thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm so glad to be here.
Oh my gosh, me too. I missed you, and just so glad you're back. And you always have so many great things to share with us and teach us. And everybody who's joining in the live, I'm loving hearing where everybody's from. So throw out where you're from because it's super awesome. And Becky, let's start out with so many new people in the community with you just sharing who you are and what you do today.
Today. Okay. Yeah. So I am an educator. I teach entrepreneurship at MSU Denver. I really help people create what's in their heart to create. And I do that through education, but I also do it through life transformation coaching, and I do Reiki and various kinds of healing. But strategic life planning is what I do. And, I focus on helping people move their life in a different direction based on the way they're thinking about their future. I would say that's what I do that as an educator, but also as a coach, and also in my everyday life by, just the advice I give people. So that's mostly what I do.
Just a little bit of stuff.
It's good. It's so good. And what's really beautiful to me about what's happening is the fact that all over the world, people are doing education in a new way. And so everybody's trying these new techniques out of how do you reach people? How do you support students who want to learn in the community or the environment that we're in? It is just amazing to be able to witness people's growth and relationships forming, all based on Zoom calls. I mean, how weird is this? But it's amazing.
It's true. It's been quite the year. And you're talking about the quantum field of all possibilities. And that just sounds so good.
Oh, it's so good. Well, you know what's so weird, Lisa, is that everybody works with this field every day. It's around us. It's the energy it's all energy. It's energy. We are energy. Everything around us is energy. And it's the energy is the field, this field. And we've never been taught to work with it and use it to our benefit, but we affect it every single day. We are working with it every day. We just don't know we are. We just don't know how to use it. But we're impacting it every day with the things we say, the things we watch, the things we put in our body, the way we move, the way we talk, the things we celebrate, the things we get mad about. We're affecting our reality, and we're affecting that field every minute. So why aren't we taught how to do this in a proper way so that we can have the life we want? So that's what this is. It's all about that.
Which is so true. We were just talking about conscious youth earlier with Kristen and Veronica from Noble One. And it is amazing that we don't just learn this information, isn't it?
Yeah, it's so amazing to me. Yeah, because what I've discovered in my research, this is not even new. I mean, you're going to all say, oh yeah, we totally know this. We have been programmed through so many different things, our education, our religion, our parents. We have these subconscious programs, our DNA. I mean, those just the fact that we grew up learning the things we learned. We are kind of programmed to be sort of disempowered, thinking that something's outside ourselves. Like we aren't fully capable. Somebody out there is in charge of giving us something to make our life better, which is not true. It's really us owning it inside us, and then it comes to us. Like we match the vibration of something, and then that comes to us and we match it. And that is when it's manifest in our life, rather than waiting for somebody to give us something. But what I think happens is that we just aren't trained to do it. We just don't even know that it's possible.
Mm-hmm. When do you think that's going to change? I'm like, when are we going to learn quantum physics as kids,
No, I think it's going to happen. I do. I would say in the next, even in my own classes, I sometimes do this. Like I'll throw some sort of idea into my classes, and I kind of have to wrap it in a sense of reality and not have it be like a woo-woo thing. But we talk about it. Like we talked about it today. We were talking about motivating people and about getting a different job and all that. And I was talking about how, we limit ourselves in 3 different ways. So we limit our future in 3 ways. One, we are limited in what we imagine is possible. So, the all possibilities things. What about something beyond your imagination? We're not taught to believe that or to think about that or work toward that. So we have this idea. Somebody says to us, what do you want to do what do you want to do when you grow up? What do you want to do with your future? And most people think of maybe 5 different options because that's really all they can think of. Especially a kid, that you ask them and there's like 20 things kids say. I want to be a dancer. I want to be a doctor. it's like limited because they don't know. So we're limited by our ability to imagine something. Okay, we're also limited by our sense of worthiness or lack thereof. But the truth is, you're infinitely worthy of anything. You're just infinitely worthy. I mean, according to the divine and the whole energy and the whole universe, you are divine yourself and worthy of everything that could possibly come your way. Absolutely. But we don't know that. So we limit ourselves by feeling unworthy. And then the third one is our ability, our idea of our capability or lack of capability. And the truth is, if it's something you want, you're infinitely capable of getting it if you care about it enough. And so when we remove these limitations, we open ourselves up to a future that is beyond our imagination. And when we do that, it's like we're getting this field. Okay, I got to tell you this. This is one of my favorite things. I have this in the workshop. Okay, so Bruce Lipton, who's one of my favorite thought leaders and scientists, he's a doctor, amazing.
By the way, we're on the list for him to come on the show.
Oh my God, he's just my favorite.
On the list.
Oh, I saw him at this thing called Scientists, Mystics, and Sages. Bruce Lipton, Greg Braden, Anita Moorjani, a whole bunch of them, like the best thought leaders were at this Scientists, Mystics, and Sages workshop I went to last November. Okay, so this is what he said. So Bruce Lipton, I think he grew up a Jewish guy. And who knows? I think he's a spiritualist is probably what he might call himself at this point. He defined spirit as this. This is spirit. Invisible moving forces that influence the physical world. And then he defined the field of all possibilities. They call it the divine matrix, the quantum field, the ethers. There's all sorts of different words people are referring to it as. Okay, this is definition. Invisible moving forces that influence the physical world. Exact same thing. So, how I can define this is, and this is not clear, so I'm sure this might not be clear, but let's just say this is what happens. You're getting ready to do something and your mind says, okay, time to go. Well, before you actually move, oftentimes your animals are like, okay, we're leaving because they get it before anybody else does. But your body all of a sudden activates and all the energy around you activates to move you forward to the next place you're going. And so this is what happens. Like we get that field, the activatable field is what I'm talking about. So when you make a decision and then you take inspired action and move in that direction, it's like this, it's just like a gush of energy that moves you in that direction. Now, this is right. It's accurate for positive direction and is accurate for negative direction too. So if you're like, oh, my life just sucks, I'm gonna fail. You know what? All the parts and pieces come and say, yes, indeed. And well, here's more of that. Like, yes, and here's more of that. So that's what this whole quantum field is, that in my experience, or this is what I think is important for us to say, okay, if that's the case, then we need to get it moving for us in the way we want ourselves to move. And I think that's the thing that I feel like I'm here to teach people is how can you get yourself moving in that direction? Because like if you say to somebody, you got to have a better attitude, that does not help. Because a person does not help. You know, you might want to just flip the bird to somebody that tells you that. Oh, come on, you've got to have more confidence. Oh, we hear this stuff and it does not help. How can you have more confidence? Like, how do you get to those things? How can you live a life that is different from how you've been living? It takes more than somebody telling you to do it to get you to do it. So that's been kind of sort of my work, my new work.
I like it. That's awesome. And Mary says, yes, yes, yes. Buddha Warrior says, my 7-year-old daughter has known about her human design for years, but the parents have been a hard sell. And Buddha Warrior also says that would be amazing. And Eve says unified field too. So,
oh, unified field for sure. It's a beautiful term. I love that.
Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome. Well, how do we affect it, Becky? Like what are some pointers for us tonight?
Okay, so I'm glad you asked that. So I think that what happens is, when we are trying to figure ourselves out and move ourselves in a new direction, I think we have to recognize what are the programs that are keeping us stuck in that space. Because we do kind of need to know that. Like, we need to recognize, what it is that's making us feel this way. So when I was young, actually all my life, up until about 3 years ago, I used to say regularly, nobody listens to me. Nobody listens to me. Well, if I want to be a thought leader, that behavior and that space I'm holding myself in by continually saying that to myself or to whomever's listening, is just keeping me stuck. That is not helping. Okay, so I did this. Here was the thing. I did this training, and it's called Regenerating Images in Memory, or RIM for short. A woman named Deborah Sandella came up with this. She works with Jack Canfield. That's one of the things he promotes her business. It's a really good thing. So what I was doing a session. I can take people through a session, so I'm certified in this. But somebody was doing this session with me, and the question was, when was the first time I felt like nobody was listening to me? And what came about in my session is that I was taken back to a moment in my life where I was playing this game called Pom Pom Pull Away. And it was where, like, everybody lines up, there's somebody in the middle, you had to run to the other side before the person in the middle tags you. Or in my dad's case, who was like a football star when he was younger, tackle. So I was 4 and we're tackling, we're playing tackle. So okay, I'm the last one standing because nobody probably saw me as a threat. So I would just to the other side, and I escaped everybody. I was the last one standing. So that means every one of those people was about to pounce on me. So sure enough, they all jumped on me and tackled me. And I got the wind knocked out of me. I couldn't breathe. And to get that many people off me, I was laying there. I was 4, you guys. And I was like, oh my God, nobody can hear me. Nobody's listening. I'm going to die. And weirdly enough, that is how some of our programs start. It was an innocent game. Nobody was hurting me. Nobody was being mean to me. And it impacted the rest of my life. So what I think we need to do is sometimes we need to go through these really significant measures, healing measures. EMDR is a really good one. A lot of hypnosis, like the QHHT, quantum healing hypnosis technique. Some of those really shift you. Plant medicine really shifts you. Some of these healing methods really shift you by identifying or helping you understand or unravel from these programs or these things that happen to us in our life that keep us stuck. And so, okay, but that's some serious work. So just like basic things that you can start doing is recognizing. So here's another thing that keeps us stuck. The negative self-talk. So I think people do this because they think it's funny and it makes them sound humble. And they're like, oh, I'm not really good at that. Or, oh, I'm just a terrible cook. While there's this glorious meal on the table, you're just like, shut up. You're not at all. This is amazing. But for some reason, people kind of think that it's cute to talk like that, or somehow it's making them seem better because they're derogatory about their own self. Okay, that's got to stop because it doesn't help you. It just keeps you in that space of whatever it is you're saying. And so we need to be aware of when we say that. So like if you just said today, okay, I've got to stop this negative self-talk. What you will do is move forward, recognizing when you're doing it, and then saying, oh, there it is again. Oh, there it is again. And the more recognition, the more it starts unraveling because you're like, why do I do that? oh my God, that sounds terrible. You start noticing that other people don't do it. So like the awareness of what's happening is the thing then that helps you move away from it. It takes a while sometimes, but you know, you've got to be aware of it and kind of watch yourself do that, which you need not do. Oh gosh, what else?
So good. I had a friend who she wore a rubber band on her wrist. And every time she like said something negative about herself, she'd snap the rubber band on her wrist. And it wasn't like awful, by the way. It was like one of those cloth, you know, hair ponytail ties. But I just thought that was interesting because that was her way of like training her brain, you know, to start to be conscious and to start paying attention to it. So right or wrong, I don't know about the pain part, but that always stuck with me because it was like, you know, to really remember, because I've been using my calendar notifications for the last, I don't know, 4 or 5 years. So I have calendar notifications all throughout the day that are like, oh, don't forget this, or it says I am loved, or, you know, whatever it is, because it just, those are the things to help you get out of that. Do you have any little tricks that you do?
I love that. Well, you guys, actually, yes. So I pay attention to my thoughts all the time because I have this really bad problem of songs playing in my head too, like the repeat of a song, and it's like a phrase of a song. And what I know is a lot of lyrics are really negative, and so you might go into a grocery store and you're singing a song, and if you really pay attention to the song that then you continue to sing the rest of the day, the lyrics are like terrible and not good for you. So I have to just essentially say, no, stop. That's not yours. And I have to be real deliberate about it. Because I don't know how else to do it. I mean, I've been kind of wrestling with this my whole life, is the idea of these songs or these tapes or whatever that keep playing. And I have to just say, no, that is not mine. Mm-hmm. That's so important. Hey, one thing I want to say, like the most important thing is this. Okay, I wanted to say this because it's like my thing that I think is so important. So everything that happens to us, we call to ourselves by what we hold to be true and present in our hearts. And so that's what this whole entire thing I teach is about that. So we need to be careful about what we hold as true and present in our hearts. And so like when we're doing negative self-talk, we have to just say, you know, a good question. Who is it? Brene Brown or somebody who said, is it true? Is it true? Is it kind? There's like a 3 questions she asks. So the idea of, you know, if something comes up in your head, are you really a bad cook? Or are you really overweight? Or are you really, you know, nobody likes you, nobody listens to you. You know, the question is that true? And if you really because if you're just saying it to be funny, but you don't really hold it to be true, then maybe it's not so damaging and limiting. But if you do actually hold it to be true in your heart, then that's what your experience is going to be. And that's not what you want your experience to be.
I love that. I love that. What do you think about, so you're in Awakened Grace, Becky's stories in Awakened Grace, and part 2 eventually will be done. I was talking about that the other day. I'm like, oh, eventually that's going to be done here in the next few weeks. But anyways, you talk about your, you know, some of your awakenings, and what do you feel or think about awakenings now after this year? And has it changed? And go ahead and start talking. I have to let my cat out. She's freaking out. She wants to get out. So I'm going to let her out.
Okay. Well, so this is so significant because I actually feel like some of the biggest changes that have happened in my entire life have happened since the beginning of this global event. Well, and really since we started these summits back in like April. Such huge things. And I think it's because we all of us on this program, I mean, you, Lisa, are the best of all, the example of all, stepping in and saying it, stepping in and sharing, getting our vibration out there in the world. I mean, this is the divine feminine that we're sharing every day, and she wants to be heard. And so I feel like because I've stepped into this space, she's coming in more and more, and she's speaking through me more and more, and I'm recognizing myself being more in tune or in line with my higher self. Last night, weirdly enough, like crazy things, you know, crazy things have been happening. Like this wonderful moment. I was in like a tetrahedron in meditation, and I noticed it spinning like a kind of spinning and bringing me down into the earth. And last night, I think I spent the whole night incubating in this womb space in the earth. Like that stuff never happened to me before. So it's, who knows what that means? Who knows where that's going to take me? But if, you know, when we go into meditation, sometimes that experience is so real. It's our body doesn't know the difference. Like it's just as real to my body as, you know, us being on this call tonight. You know, that I recognize in myself spending my night in womb space, in like nestled in Mother Earth. So these are the most amazing things that are happening. And if we don't jump in and say, oh, that's just ridiculous, and we actually keep our mind open to the idea of, well, what if that's possible? Then I'd say that's pretty dang cool. And that's what I think. Like, I think awakening after awakening. I mean, I've recognized some icky things about myself. And so then I say, oh my gosh, I'm human. And that's good for me too, because I'm pretty controlled about how I do things and how my emotions are. I feel like I'm a pretty controlled person. I don't want anybody to see the bad side of me. Oh man, that's been, you know, that's been rearing its ugly head a couple of times. And, you know, I've realized you have to love that too. Even that's an awakening to me. Some of the icky stuff is, because that's going to shift me and move me forward also.
Yeah, I love that you're saying that, because I think, man, there's a theme this week, and it's about not denying our human experience, you know?
Oh my gosh.
We are human beings, and we want to be, we chose to be, it's a gift to be, and we need to be. And so what you're saying, you know, it's so important.
It's so important. Yes, I do believe that. And I feel like I've seen it actually in several people, just the idea of awakening and shifting, or I don't know, opening their mind to something different from what they believed was true. Because really right now, what is truth? You know, what really is truth? We can't count on the news to deliver the truth. We have to find it actually within ourselves. You know, what is our truth? And, you know, if that's not the best thing to come out of this whole situation, I don't know what is, because the fact that you have to, everything you hear needs to go through your filter of truth so you can determine whether it's true for you or not. That to me is a global awakening in and of itself. I love that so much.
Yep, I totally agree. Tell everybody a little bit about your book.
Okay, so I wrote a book. I have it right here. So it's called Life Transformed: 6 Steps to a Future Beyond Your Imagination. And it really is about knowing thyself, healing thyself, defining the future, building a vision board, different. It's a feng shui-based vision board, which I love, and then actually taking inspired action. And I know that, Lisa, you talked about it on a couple of other programs this week. You've mentioned how important inspired action is, because just having an idea or having an intention is awesome, because that also activates things. But stepping out is when it all rushes in and says, okay, here we go. It's kind of like putting the GPS coordinates in your phone. It's like you're going to San Francisco and, you know, you have a final destination. Not that you're going to have your GPS on that whole time, but so you put it in and you don't necessarily pay attention to exactly how it's taking you. You just kind of trust that it's going to take you, if you're using Waze, the least trafficky way, which is awesome. But this is what happens. You give the universe like some parameters, and based on what you know you need in your life after your know thyself assessment of who you are and what you want in your life. And then you actually kind of build some parameters so that the universe can come in and say, yes, and here is the best version of that. So so let's just say teaching. So I was teaching at the Art Institute of Colorado, and you guys, I couldn't have picked a better job for myself. You know, I was teaching the business of fashion, which is where we met each other, which is so fun. It was the best. It was utilizing all my skill set. I loved it so much. And then the school went away, like done, completely closed. And I thought, oh my gosh, what now? Because I'm in Denver and I didn't, you know, I had sold my clothing company. I didn't want to start another one. How can you do something in fashion in Denver? Which I know there are people that are doing it, and hooray for you, you're awesome. But I couldn't figure it out. So I'm looking for jobs. And I decided, okay, this job has to come to me just as much as I'm going to it. So I laid down the parameters, and one was that I wanted it to be in teaching. I really did. I wanted to get paid more than I expected, I guess. Beyond my imagination. I want to be rewarded beyond my imagination is what I put. Because again, if it's based on my worthiness, I would work for free, you know? Like that's what happens to the people like us who, you know, feel like this work isn't something you should charge for. Well, you know, it is. So it really is. And we need to charge a good bit for it because it's more valuable. Okay. So I wanted to teach. I wanted to get paid, you know, beyond my imagination. And I really wanted to have the ability to travel. And so weirdly enough, then I get this job working at MSU Denver as a teacher of entrepreneurship. And it involves, you know, it's better pay than I ever would have imagined I'd get paid for a job like this. I get to travel actually with my job. Like I was supposed to this summer go to Indonesia to work on this entrepreneurship project in Indonesia. I mean, everything came true, you guys. And it is even better than my last job. So like if I had said, this is the job I have to have, which, you know, like the VF Corp, the company that owns North Face and all those, they came into Colorado. And, you know, I've been in the fashion business for so many years. I was just sure I could get a job there too. Not that I wanted to stay in the fashion industry, though, let me tell you. But I probably sent in 20 applications and I didn't even hear anything from them. And I'm pretty sure that once they, you know, they saw the fact that I had graduated in like 83 or something, they're probably like, no way. We don't need someone that age. So I didn't get that job. But, you know, so it was like I set out, I was looking for all these jobs, but really when I locked in and said, this is what I want, the universe then kind of brought that to me as I was looking for it. And this is what happens when you set parameters. So in the book, I talk about the importance of knowing yourself. I bring up all sorts of different ways of healing, which we mentioned before, like EMDR, Reiki. Meditation is a great way to heal. And then figuring out what those parameters are. And then the vision board piece is about taking those parameters and putting them, arranging them according to the Bagua, the Chinese Bagua. You know what? Let me get that. I have it.
Yeah, do it. Hey, you know what's interesting, Becky, is Cairo's presentation. Did you watch him today?
No, I didn't. I couldn't.
Oh, you need to, because he talked about the feng shui of heaven and the feng shui of earth. And he talked about what energy centers in the body and how it all relates to the Bagua. So you've got to listen to it. Because I thought of you when he was talking. I was like, I bet there's a whole lot you're going to be like, yep. Yeah. I think you're going to love it. I think it'll bring something to you.
Oh my gosh. I've loved the shows I've seen so far. And yes, and I'll just listen to it on the recording because I love it when people talk about this, mostly because I feel like I've been studying it my whole life. And so when somebody like reminds me of what I already know in this way, it makes me so excited. It like triggers the, oh yeah. So that'll be good. Okay. So this is, this is how I'm trying to think. It's like backwards. This is this is how it's arranged. So when I do a vision board, I recommend, or when people do vision boards, I recommend that they do it according to this. Because each one of these areas is corresponds to a part of your life you need to address. So, you know, if you're going to do a vision board, most people just put up a bunch of pictures and, you know, unless you have somebody helping you do it, maybe there's not a lot of strategy to it. So in this way, you have a box that you consider, what do you want your love and relationships to be? What do you want your creativity or your legacy to be? Children, creativity, legacy. What do you want travel and helpful people to be? That's a little bit of a weird combination, but that's what they feel like is important. Or that's what they have identified as being one of the squares in this matrix. Career and life path, skills and knowledge, health and wellness, wealth and abundance, fame and reputation. And in the center, I have put authentic self and spirituality. And so instead of, you know, people can put pictures, but mostly or what I think is also important, is coming up with a statement. Okay, I'll put it down. A positive statement giving thanks or establishing what is already true for you, whether or not it's true. Okay, so you might say, let's say in your health and wellness, you would say, I am a vibrant, healthy, 150-pound woman. I can do anything. I eat well. I feel great about myself. I can fit into all my favorite clothes. That's what you say. Because if you hold that to be true and present in your heart, that is what will happen. Because anything else you'd put, I want to lose weight. I want to fit into those old clothes I used to wear. All that keeps you in a space of lack. And you don't want to be in a space of lack. So what happens, like prayer we keep ourselves in a space of lack with our prayers all the time. Like when we say, please God, give me patience. Please God, give me abundance. Da, 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 da. However, it's telling God, I don't have what I need. And when you can pray in gratitude, say, thank you so much for the amazing life I have. Thank you for the amazing people. Thank you for the partner that is coming my way. This is what, it has so much more power. I mean, the other has power too, but it has a power to keep you stuck. And you don't want to stay stuck. You want to move forward and get closer and closer to that life you desire, really. Mm-hmm. So the book is really taking you through a process of changing the way you think about your life and building a strategic plan for a better life.
It's so good. It's so good. And are you working on your second one?
Well, I am, but it's a little bit interesting. So you guys, it's really about the divine feminine, and this might be super controversial. When I was introducing myself, I have a list of these things, like the things I focus on, my focus of study. So this is what it is. It's pretty crazy. Okay, besides the fact that I teach people how to be an entrepreneur and start businesses, the other side of my life is working with sacred geometry. I help people pass, which is really rewarding work, especially now because people are alone and they need help and they need companionship doing that. I help people align with their higher self. Okay, I also do a lot of, I don't know if it'd be channeling or conversating with Jesus, Mary, and their daughter, Sarah. And so I've been asked to write Sarah's story. And so in doing that, I've been, working kind of channeling really channeling, because I feel the words come out just like you, Lisa. And this has happened since. In fact, just the other day, guys, I was really upset because I've got some friends that I love so much. I've traveled the world with these people. I love them so much. And they're really afraid of getting COVID. So they haven't wanted me to be around because my husband's going out to his job and my daughter has to teach at a school. So they don't want me around. And I've been angry about it. I've been so sad. Like I can hardly stand it because they're my bestie friends. And I'm not kidding. Like, this, because when a spirit or a being comes in and is there, you recognize their soul signature or their vibration. So she comes in and she's like right here. And she said, Becky, you don't think you have any fear, but actually you're afraid of losing their friendship. And that's why you're angry. And I was like, oh yeah, it's so true. It was the sweetest little voice. It was the sweetest little voice. And I thought, oh my God, yes. So I've been doing that. And then what that's done is kind of opened the floodgates for other divine feminine beings to come in and speak with me. So that's been really cool.
That's so awesome. I love it. That's so good.
But that's all awakening for sure, because it didn't happen to me before this.
Yeah.
Or that I recognized, now I'm just like paying attention, really paying attention to these things.
Mm-hmm. What else has been going on over there?
Okay, so the next divine feminine voice that came in, actually, this is probably a good platform for me to share this because I think that she'd be happy. Okay, so most of my time I've spent actually talking about Mary Magdalene and, her history and what she taught after Jesus died, and, her lineage and all of her life that happened in the south of France. Okay, so, and I've never given any sort of time or attention to Mother Mary. And so when I was meditating with Sarah and Mary came in, and Mary said, Becky, you can feel the difference between Sarah and me. What is the difference? And I noticed that Sarah's was like this really light vibration, really light energy. And Mary's was like so dark. I mean, like the darkest, the heaviest, the most sorrowful energy. And I just thought, oh my God, wow. It was amazing to feel that. And and she said, you can't experience what I've experienced in my life without having that as a react. Like that is where my vibration is because of the things I've experienced. I still thought it was Mary Magdalene. But you know what I found out, you guys, is that it actually is, I think they call her Our Lady of Sorrow, which is Mother Mary. And in meditation, again, this is where I usually speak to my guides, or, these beings that are coming to me, thankfully and wonderfully. She said, give me your sorrow. And she said, everybody needs to give me their sorrow. I'm here to, okay, so her vibration is one of sorrow. And so anybody that feels the vibration of sorrow, she comes to. Most people don't know, but she's there if you ask. She's there, she will come and be there for you. So she will she wants you to give her your sorrow. Well, what happens is they're not ready to give it up. They're not ready to give that up. It defines them. But what she's here to say is this, and it's amazing. And, you've heard me talk about my ayahuasca situation, where this is something that's really clear to me when I'm in that space. That sorrow, this is what she said, sorrow, okay. I'm going to say, okay, so down here is sorrow. This feeling down here is sorrow. But what sorrow really is your capacity to love deeply. And so it's just the other side. It's this. So you feel this, and you eventually, that energy of sorrow is transmuted into the understanding of it's your capacity to love somebody so deeply that your heart hurts for them. And so it's, when you think of it that way, it's so beautiful. It's like you love so deeply that your heart is breaking because that person is no longer there with you. And I mean, it's like, I don't know, you have to, it's the good and the bad, but is this bad? Is sorrow bad? It's not bad. But when we release it, it becomes the deep love we have for somebody. So she's saying, no, give it to me. I don't keep it, but I help it become deep love. And, deep love. And it's your capacity to love somebody that you identify through your sorrow that you feel. And so it was just amazing. Like, I feel like, when you're channeling and you deliver these amazing messages through your ajatakasa, or however you do it, because you do a lot of these things just for free to people. I mean, it is so amazing to get these kind of messages. And, I don't think I would have gotten them had we not like collectively started this program, this Buddhist Biohacker. Aww. I really think so. So I'm so grateful. It's like we opened a door. Yeah, it's been amazing.
Becky. Did you know, so Perdita and Clark, who wrote The Way of the Rose, and they were on the show a while back, they're going to be back on a week from Monday because they have a new book out. And my gosh, the synchronicity. So I have it here. Hold on.
Oh, that's right, because they're all about Mother Mary, aren't they? Or
yes. Well, all Marys. So they have a new book out, you guys, and it's called Now is the Hour of Her Return.
Oh, yes. Oh, my gosh.
And it's poems in praise of the Divine Mother Kali. So when you talk about sorrow and darkness, these are absolutely incredible. Like, listen to this one. Her patience is at an end. I snuck Kali Ma into a church to show her the Blessed Virgin and said, Mother, what do you think of that? She's beautiful, said Kali, but her patience is at an end. Don't suppose she can't become black at a moment's notice. You see only her piously prayerful hands. Of the other two, one plots the fall of Wall Street, the other takes the pulse of the pulse, counting down his seconds like a bomb, because his death is a sign of the end. I mean, these are pretty amazing.
Oh, that's amazing.
When I'm gone, Kali Ma, when I am lonely, you draw me, a child or a lover, to the hollow of your breast. I don't have to decide which. You've never asked me to state my intentions. When I'm gone, they'll say this. He wasn't much to look at, but good God, did he love that woman. What he saw in a girl festooned with skulls and severed arms is anyone's guess. I mean, these are...
That's powerful. Oh my gosh. So are they going to talk about this book?
Yeah, they're going to talk about this book, and it you know, they do, you know, The Way of the Rose. It's not, you know, super joyful. I mean, it's a very, you know, story of the divine feminine, really, and it's really beautiful. But this is on the darker side, I would say. I mean, there's definitely, so when you talk about that, it's interesting because that's a lot of the emming out. And so, yeah, they're going to be on a week from Monday talking about their new book. And it's just a book of poetry. Like, it's just poetry, but they're like, here's another one that I love. The Ride of the Cosmos. My mother, daughter, sister, lover, bride is one with all qualities. It's pointless trying to find a thing that she is not. I pour myself out each day, turn inward each night, turn flips and somersaults at her feet like Shiva. I am barely conscious during this. I'm along for the ride of the cosmos. She stands with one foot planted firmly on my chest. The other holds my thigh, the weight of her like so many stars pulled inside out, made fine and perfect in their fall. I become mass only, so light I become dark, so dark I become light again. The broken heart of a galaxy is a universe complete. So let me put these questions before you. They must be answered. Who can survive her? Who can be without her? Tell me if you can.
Oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm. So now is the hour of her return.
It is. That's a good one. You know, and it's so true. I think she's here to return. I think the divine feminine is just it's time. It's really time. We need it so badly. The other thing is, she said, you know, like, people need to give up their sorrow, because what's happening is it's keeping their light from shining fully. So when you are in this vibration of sorrow, you are not in the vibration of love and deep love. Like, because it's like like the darkness, the anger, the fear, it's all keeping your light from shining. And we need people's light to shine more than ever. And, you know, it's like, raise your vibration when you let go of your fears and your limitations. So we need that. We need the vibration to rise. We need people's light to shine. That's what we need. We need people to be beautiful. We need people to, you know, say what I know to be true, weirdly enough, is the idea that whatever we say might be a fraction of what's actually communicated through ourselves. So the words I say are just a tiny little thing. It's the vibration of me or the vibration of you that is being transmitted, and there's so much more to it than we know. So there's a lot of people that have written about this. So if you know Paul Selig, who is an incredible channeler, do you know who that is? Paul Selig? Oh my God, he's amazing. He's amazing. He writes in his book that the words in the book are just part of the value of what you're getting when you read it. Because all the vacant spaces, again, all the energy that is not written, that is a part of the book, is really the highest value of that book and what's being shared. It's a transmission. Your body reads those words. And we know that my speaking unlocks things in you that need to be unlocked. When we activate each other by speaking, we talk about that a lot in our conversations. And at least I feel like you and I always do this like spiraling thing of just going crazy with our conversations, which is so fun. You know, you might not see on track, but what's happening is just this beautiful play of energy. Well, it's so much more than the words we say to each other. It's so much more than that. And so, you know, she's saying, please speak, get your vibration out there, raise the vibration of the planet, especially us that are, you know, light warriors, light beings, star seeds, or whatever, all the different terms for it. We need to be speaking and sharing and putting ourselves out there. And sometimes it's not comfortable.
Oh yeah, it's never comfortable. I mean, it's not never really comfortable. I don't think it's more about embracing that uncomfortable feeling and saying, you know what, I'm going through something that's good right now because it doesn't feel good.
Exactly. You know, that's true. So you know what I kind of liken it to? So I don't know if you could, you know how okay, let's say you're using your phone and you're going to move your apps around. So you have to hold one for a little long and then they all jiggle.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's like after an event like this, I feel like I'm all jiggly. And I think it's because half the time I think I'm channeling something. The other half I'm like, you know, I don't know. I don't really want to say I'm unsure because I'm not. I don't think it's that. I think it's just I feel wiggly because something's happening that's maybe beyond my like a strict control situation of here's some information I'm going to deliver. Instead, all sorts of stuff's coming out, and then I feel all wiggly like this little apple.
That's a good analogy, though, because that's true. I mean, I feel that way too. Like I got off this yesterday, and I was like, I didn't even know where I was anymore. I was like, way, and it's the same thing with me. Like once I get through the week or through the event, and this has really been 4 months of work. I mean, we started working on this back in August, and so it was 4 months, Sienna and I worked on this and watching videos and production and website building and all that. So for the last 4 months, I've been, you know, deep into all of this and then sitting with everybody live and having these great conversations. And yeah, you get through the end of it. And I feel like I'm like a completely different person. It's like, oh God, help me if I have to create any more new website stuff because I just can't anymore. But I know what you're saying. So I like the jiggly thing because that's kind of what it is. And everything kind of moves around and it's reprioritized and you get rid of some stuff that doesn't work. So that's I like that. That's a good analogy.
Yeah. And I think then when it stops, like the integration is when it stops because, you know, you'll like after this, hopefully you'll be able to take some time during the holidays or whatever to just kind of let it all integrate and things will, you know, rise up as being important or I don't know. I mean, there's a lot that you especially have to integrate, but all of us, anybody that's a part of this, you know, you listen, you get it in, you take it in, you watch, you read, you know, and then you have to just let it sort of seep in and find its place and kind of resettle back down. So that we can do another one someday.
Oh, I know. There's going to be more to come next year for sure. And oh, Becky, I just love you. I can't believe how fast time goes in here. It's so crazy. And tomorrow's Friday the 13th.
Oh, I love that. Oh, yay. I love Friday. We've taken it back, right?
Yes, we did. And so I think it's kind of curious. Tomorrow's Friday the 13th. We actually start, well, we have our 8 a.m. pulse check, which has been really fun. And then at 9 a.m., we have Sandy Dilita doing a live sound healing. So that's a great way to start the morning. And then 10 a.m. is Michelle Snelling. I love her. She's an incredible medium. She's going to be talking about how to remove your soul's amnesia with essential oils.
Whoa, that sounds good.
Yeah, she is awesome. Then we have the yogic diet with Monique Toe at 11 o'clock. At noon, our lovely Christine Shaheen is on to talk about her naturally beautiful self. Heather Bryant is on at 1 with From Head to Heart. And then we have Susan Walter talking about what are the Salveggio frequencies. She's going to be talking about that tomorrow. And then our very last presentation is Carrie Brackett talking about how to trust the process. So we have like another packed day. It's so awesome.
Oh my gosh. Well, it's been so fun. It's been really fun to be a part of this. It's been so fun to watch people. You know what a neat group of beautiful, beautiful, amazing people. So thank you for bringing us all together. And it's so, just such a delight. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Oh my gosh, thank you. And I know you'll be back with us next year too. And I was pondering, we need to do some plant medicine podcasts on here, I think. So we should talk about that for the new year and talk about that because of the new 7788 Stargate meditation. One of the things that the collective is activating is your ability to work with plant medicine. So if you guys haven't done that meditation, it was very unique, came right through me. And it was really cool. So you like unzip your skin and stuff. It's pretty interesting. But they activate plant medicine in there and the natural healer. So
how do you access that? I saw it on there and I wasn't able to get through.
Oh, you just so it's on the YouTube channel and you just go to the 7788 Stargate and you should be able to just play the meditation right off YouTube now.
Okay. Oh, good.
Yeah, it's all on there. And I just love you so much. And I love everybody who's on here right now. And some of you guys have been here all day with me, which is amazing. And tomorrow's our last day.
Oh my goodness. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. Have an awesome day or night, wherever.